So this is a custom 1979 GMC Jimmy, which you might recognize from the 2017 SEMA Show, where it was also selected by Optima to participate in their invitational as a Golden Ticket winner. And of course, it's just cool looking with the Desert Fox livery on the outside, a custom interior, air conditioning, and even a modern fuel-injected powertrain under the hood. And now it's for sale. It's heading up for auction on Bring a Trailer, where it will be selling with no reserve as offered from Casio Motors. Under the hood is a modern fuel-injected LSV8 with a Brian Tooley Stage 3 camshaft and springs, ICT intake manifold, and speed engineering headers with Flowmaster 40 series mufflers and electronic cutouts, paired with a 4L60E 4-speed automatic transmission with a performance shift kit and Auburn 410 posi traction rear axle, sending power to the rear wheels. Along with the LS, you'll find a radiator cooled with electronic fans, air conditioning, power steering, and more. The exterior comes finished in PPG buckskin paint with Desert Fox inspired stripes from Low Sierra and rolling on 20-inch US Mags wheels with polished outer lips and silver powder coated centers. The top is coated in bedliner and can be quickly removed for open cruising, featuring the iconic lowering rear window. The brightwork is all fresh with GMC and Low Sierra badges, and underneath, the frame was C-notched and fitted with Porterbuilt control arms, Beltec front springs, RideTech rear springs and muscle bar, Fox shocks all around, and power stop brakes front and rear. Moving on to the interior, the idea was to pick something that would match the cool exterior Desert Fox theme. So when you take a look at the inside, it is just awesome. Obviously you have these OEM style Highlander bucket seats up front, but everything including the back seats are now finished in this orange plaid, which is just epic. And you can see the way it looks here in the back seats as well. And then even throughout the back of the bed section has also been trimmed to match. Now up front here, everything has kind of an OEM plus look to it. It looks original for the most part, but there are some very important upgrades. Obviously things like these door cards are obviously some newer replacements, and just all the extra details in them are just classic GMC Jimmy touches that look great. You also actually have your manual windows, your vent windows, some pockets here. We do have these square body lower styles here. These mats do a great job of, again, just matching that theme. You have the new tan carpet throughout. You have the center console, which has a storage box. We even have our Dino's Get Down top pick poker chip there on top. We also have some cup holders. Everything on this side feels pretty normal for the vehicle. Obviously, you can also fold the seats forward to fit your family in the back, and there's a lot of room in there. You could easily fit a family of 4. And then as we take a look here in front of the driver, everything looks mostly original if you weren't familiar with one of these, but now it's been equipped with these Dakota Digital Syndicate Series gauges, and that's the entire setup here. And the cool part about these is you can see these smaller digital readouts. Obviously those wouldn't have been there in 1979, but you can actually flip through those and adjust them to whatever you want without ruining the retro styling of the vehicle. You can make them display things like your actual fuel rating. You can also show things like your coolant temp, your battery voltage, all sorts of stuff that you can customize and change on the fly while still having a nice touch of retro styling, but a little bit of extra modern features. On top of that, of course, we have our main GMC steering wheel here, our column shifter for that automatic transmission. Over here on the side, we of course have air conditioning, which blows nice and cold and is a fantastic luxury for any cruiser. And we also have a retro sound deck here. So obviously this brings things into the modern era a bit without ruining the cosmetics or the styling of the vehicle, which is then plumbed through these kicker speakers that you'll find throughout the vehicle. The thing I like about this is obviously it feels just like a Jimmy in terms of you having this wide open layout that has this very cool styling to match the exterior, both with the gauges and of course this bright orange plaid, which is all in great condition. But then you have the modern amenities for the things that actually matter. Again, just your music, your climate control, and then the functionality of being able to see what's going on with the vehicle at all times, having both the physical gauges and the option to thumb through the digital settings with these awesome modern Dakota Digital Syndicate Series gauges. All right. So what's it like to drive this 1979 GMC Jimmy? Well, honestly, it's really, really good. I mean, when you have something that is designed from the outset for a specific purpose, in this case to be a cruiser, obviously it's going to be pretty good at that goal, assuming you don't change the goal along the way, right? And so it was designed to be a cruiser, and some things like the suspension was obviously updated actually throughout its lifespan. Originally it wasn't equipped with the ride tech components that are on it now. That was actually an update that came later to sort of suit the vehicle better. But everything that was designed for this vehicle in terms of the newer interior style components, obviously this thing's going to be a huge hit at any car show. Obviously, if it's good enough to go to SEMA, it's definitely good enough to take to any car show or any Cars and Coffee on any weekend. As far as the usability of it, currently it is 115 degrees outside right now here in Phoenix, Arizona, and yet this vehicle's not overheating. That's in part thanks to the fact that you have a modern fuel-injected V8 under the hood, in addition to the fact that it's got electric fans on that big old radiator, which definitely helps to being able to drive it in any conditions. But on top of that, not only is this thing running just fine here, we also have air conditioning, which is currently running right now in the high setting inside. So that means that keeps me cooler on the inside as well, while the vehicle itself is also cooler thanks to all those upgrades. But then you also have radio, which I can't play for copyright reasons, but trust me, it works, and you can tune it to whatever you want, whether you run on a radio station through the kicker speakers and everything. It sounds fantastic on the inside of this, if for whatever reason you don't want to listen to that fuel-injected V8 under the hood. If you do want to listen to that V8 that's under the hood, however, maybe this current, you can get a bit of VO noise on the inside here, but maybe that's not enough for you. Well, if you actually just reach down, we can go ahead and open up the valves. That is a lot louder than it was before. So now you have a real nice rumble to it. If that's not enough for you. However, let's say you want to take it to a car show that's farther away. Well, this is a great vehicle that you can just hop in and then drive to a show. You know, there's a lot of different things out there in terms of what exists for events, and if you want to drive to those shows, you can in this. It was designed to be a cruiser, and so it was meant to be comfortable. And even technically the transmission with that 4L60 is also a new transmission, so something that would have been offered with that LS from the factory. And so it's just a nice blend here. The other part that I like is obviously when it comes to some of the older cars, it can be a bit harder to see what all is going on with said vehicle, but this one has some updated amenities. The fact that you have these Syndicate Series gauges, I think, is a nice touch, because now you can put different information on there. If you're worried about the fuel tank, which is often a concern for older vehicles, if you're worried about just even your specific coolant temps and you want to see specific numbers, none of that's really a problem here, which I think is great. So I like to see those types of things in the vehicle. It's the little things without ruining the styling of it that makes it so enjoyable. The fact that you have power steering, front disc brakes, again, all means that the driving experience for the vehicle is going to be better than it would be normally in the older stuff. And you know what I like about it is the power steering is quite good. You can turn it pretty easily. So from a driving perspective, you can drive it with one hand, just cruise. It's not super intensive. The whole family can have fun in this type of thing. And then you also have turn signals, and then just the feedback of everything. I think the benefit is it's just modern amenities, the little things that matter, like your sound system, air conditioning, and of course a powertrain that can be reliable. So you use a modern powertrain with modern cooling mechanisms, makes for a much more enjoyable experience, let's say. And so I think that's pretty cool. Not to mention just the being able to play with the valves. There's a lot of fun. Between closing them up, quieting the vehicle, whatever the case is, you'd be surprised how much you could change with this thing. But it's a lot of fun to drive. And you have the option to take it on the highway, newer 4-speed, cruise with it. Obviously, it's not the fastest vehicle in the world, but it's certainly not slow with some of those performance upgrades onto that LS engine. I mean, even a base LS engine wouldn't be a slouch in this thing, but obviously the performance upgrades even gives it a nice sound with that cam lobe that you get as you drive through it. And whether you want to open the valves and be showy, doesn't really matter. Just everything about this just makes total sense to me. It is the ultimate cruiser, but it has a very unique sense of style with the Desert Fox livery, and then of course the interior with these crazy awesome plaid seats. So with that, that's the end of the video. That's a quick look at this 1979 GMC Jimmy as seen at SEMA, Dino's Get Down, and even with the Optima Invitational winning the Golden Ticket. All very, very cool for this particular truck, and now it's for sale. So you can find this thing heading up for auction on Bring a Trailer, where it will be selling with no reserve as offered from Casio Motors. With that, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it and could leave me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Consider getting subscribed for future content like this. And of course, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.